Level 1. The applicant.
There's no dramatic recruitment. No black car waiting outside your apartment. No envelope slipped under the door. You find the application the same way anyone finds anything. You Google it. CIA careers. You click the link. You fill out the form. Name, date of birth, education, employment history. You hit submit and go to bed. 7 months pass. You've almost forgotten about it when the email arrives. Short, professional. They want to speak with you in person. You book your own flight to Virginia. Nobody offers to cover it. The building looks like a place where people process insurance claims. You sign in at a security desk. A man in a plain gray suit takes you to a room. No windows, 1 table, 2 chairs. He sits across from you and starts asking questions. Where did you grow up? What does your father do? Have you ever experimented with drugs? Have you ever been arrested, even for something minor? Have you traveled outside the country? And if so, where? The questions seem disconnected. They aren't. He's constructing a picture of who you are beneath the version you brought in today. He's looking for inconsistencies. He's looking for the things you left off your application. You pass. Then comes the polygraph. You sit very still while sensors are attached to your chest, your fingers, your arm. A technician asks you questions for 2 hours without once looking you in the eye. Have you ever committed a crime that was never discovered? Have you had contact with any foreign government? Is there anything in your past that someone could use against you? The machine cannot actually detect lies. You won't learn this for years. Right now, you tell the truth because you are quietly terrified of the alternative. A letter arrives 30 days later. You've been accepted into the clandestine service trainee program. Congratulations! Your report date is in 45 days. You are not to discuss this with anyone.
Level 2. The trainee. Camp Peary is 9,000 acres of trees, water, and fences outside Williamsburg, Virginia. The CIA has operated it for decades. Officially, it's a government training facility. The locals call it the farm. You will call it home for the next year and a half. You wake up at 5. You run before the sun is fully up. Not to get fit, to learn how to operate when your body wants to stop and your brain is still half asleep. The classroom portion begins at 7. Foreign governments, intelligence history, the anatomy of catastrophic failures and why they happened. Then they teach you to see. Surveillance detection is not a skill most people know exists. You learn to read a street like a paragraph, the same car appearing on 2 unconnected routes, the man who showed up at your hotel lobby and is now standing outside a pharmacy 3 blocks away, the woman who sat near you at breakfast and is walking 30 yards behind you now. You practice this until it becomes involuntary. You will never be able to turn it off. You learn to disappear. You enter a shopping center from 1 entrance, move through 3 floors without patterns, exit through a service corridor, transfer to a vehicle you have never been seen near, and vanish inside 15 minutes. You do this until it feels effortless. You learn recruitment. This is what the CIA actually does. It convinces people to betray the countries they work for. You study the 4 motivations that drive every human being who has ever become an asset: money, ideology, vulnerability, and ego. Your job is to identify which one applies and apply pressure so gradually the person never notices it happening. You run live training operations in nearby cities. Your instructors play the roles of hostile intelligence officers. They are experienced and patient and very good at catching you. If they catch you too many times, you go home. 38% of your class will not finish. You graduate. They hand you a badge and a cover identity. You are now an operations officer of the Central Intelligence Agency. Everything that comes next is real.
Level 3. The case officer. Your first posting is an embassy in a former Soviet bloc country, still finding its footing between East and West. On paper, you are a political attaché. Your name is on a diplomatic list. You have an office. You attend functions and make small talk with government officials while quietly cataloging everything they say. Your real job is to recruit sources. An asset is anyone who has access to information you need. A deputy minister who sits in closed-door cabinet sessions, a military officer with knowledge of weapons systems, a scientist involved in programs your government wants to understand, a personal assistant who handles sensitive correspondence for someone more important. Status is irrelevant. Access is everything. You build targets slowly. You study routines, finances, family situations. You look for pressure points, debt, illness, resentment, ambition. Everyone has something they need or something they fear. Your job is to find it before they realize you're looking. Your first recruitment takes 8 months. He's a mid-level official with access to diplomatic communications and a gambling problem he's been managing badly. You meet at a casino, you buy drinks, you become a familiar face, then a friend, then a source of financial relief. By the time the debt has grown too large to ignore, the ask is already obvious. Not betraying his country, just sharing a few documents, a small thing, a reasonable exchange. He agrees. You have your first asset. Headquarters is pleased. You write the report and file it, and move on to the next target. This is the work.
Level 4. The NOC. Most CIA officers operate under official cover. They are diplomats and military attachés with badges, embassy offices, and diplomatic immunity. If something goes wrong, they get expelled. Embarrassing, but survivable. Their families are never in danger. You are offered something different. Non-official cover. NOC. Pronounced NOC. It is the most exposed position in American intelligence. You will have no diplomatic protection, no embassy to shelter in, no government ID connecting you to the United States. If you are arrested, you are a private citizen who has broken local law. The CIA will not confirm you exist. The State Department will not confirm you exist. You are completely alone. In some countries, that means a lengthy legal process. In others, it means prison. In others, it means something that ends in an unmarked location. They build you a legend, a complete false identity with documentation, employment history, and a company that exists on paper and takes meetings. You travel to countries where America has no official intelligence presence. You recruit sources the embassy could never approach. You live your cover around the clock. Your neighbors believe you work in international consulting. Your family believes you left government service years ago. Your only contact with Langley is through dead drops and encrypted communication. You have not seen your handler in person in over a year. You are completely alone and fully aware of what happens if you make a mistake.
Level 5. The paramilitary officer. Your cover is nearly blown in a city in the Middle East. A local intelligence service grows suspicious. They begin surveillance. They photograph a meeting. You detect the coverage in time and abort, but the damage is done. You are compromised in that region permanently. They pull you out and offer you a different path. The Special Activities Center, the CIA's paramilitary arm. These are not analysts who occasionally carry weapons. These are operators. People who go where the military cannot go and do the work that cannot be officially acknowledged. You go through another round of training. This one has nothing to do with recruitment or surveillance. It is 6 months of the most demanding military instruction available. Small unit tactics, close quarters combat, explosives, advanced weapons, high-altitude parachute operations, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Most of your instructors came from the most elite special operations units in the American military. Your first deployment is Afghanistan. Your team spends 3 months in a mountain compound in local clothing, eating local food, working with militia fighters whose loyalties shift with the weather. You call in strikes on high-value targets. You watch through optics as the results come back. Sometimes the intelligence is correct. Sometimes it isn't. You do not let yourself think too carefully about the times it isn't. There is another mission tomorrow. You receive a commendation for an operation that has no official record. It will sit in a classified file somewhere. No one outside this building will ever know it happened.
Level 6. The team leader.
5 years later, you run your own unit. 8 people. 4 career paramilitary officers, 4 contractors who came out of special operations and earned 3 times your salary. You make the decisions. You are responsible for the mission and for their lives. Your team deploys to North Africa during a period of political collapse. The government has fallen, multiple armed factions are fighting for control of the capital. Weapons depots are being looted in the chaos. Your mission is to locate and secure chemical weapons stores before they reach groups that would use them. You spend 6 weeks operating at night and sleeping in rotating safe houses that change every 48 hours. You pay militia commanders for information. You run interrogations on detainees captured by Allied forces. You raid storage facilities in complete darkness, never certain whether the next room holds empty crates or armed guards. You find 15 tons of chemical agent that the official record said had already been destroyed. You rig the site and incinerate everything in place because there is no safe transport option. On your last night, your convoy is hit. One of your men does not make it to the extraction point alive. You carry another one the last half mile with fire coming in from 2 directions. The helicopter arrives. You get out. The mission is classified as a success. You write a letter to the family of the man who died. The letter is accurate about his character and says nothing true about how he died. It is the hardest thing you have ever written.
Level 7. The station chief. 15 years of field work has accumulated in your body. A shoulder that separates if you move it wrong. Both knees that take 20 minutes to loosen up every morning. Tinnitus from too many close explosions that has been a constant presence for 3 years. The doctors are honest with you. The field is finished. They offer you a desk. Not just any desk. Chief of Station. You are now the senior CIA officer in an entire country. Every operation, every asset relationship, every piece of intelligence collected in this posting flows through your approval. You manage a staff of 40 officers and a network of hundreds of local sources. You brief the ambassador every morning. You coordinate with the local intelligence service, some of whom are genuine partners, some of whom are passing your conversations back to adversaries, and at least one of whom you recruited yourself a decade ago and who now runs his own division. Washington wants results. The embassy wants stability. The host government wants to know why Americans keep appearing in sensitive locations. You balance all of it, every day, with incomplete information and instructions that change weekly. You approve operations that could trigger international incidents if they surface. You kill operations that could produce valuable intelligence but carry risks you can't accept. Every decision is a calculated gamble with variables you can't fully see. You sleep 4 hours a night. You haven't taken a day off in 2 years. Your marriage ended during a previous posting. Your children know the version of you that exists in cover stories.
Level 8. The Black Site Commander.
There is a facility that does not appear in any official record. It sits inside a country whose government has been compensated for its silence. The building is unremarkable from outside, a former industrial space, a repurposed warehouse. Inside, there are cells, interrogation rooms, and a medical unit designed to keep the occupants functional. The occupants are high-value detainees, bomb makers, network financiers, logistics coordinators for attacks that killed hundreds of people. They were taken in operations across multiple countries. They have never been formally charged. They have no legal representation. They do not officially exist. You are asked to run this facility. The techniques are classified. The legal memos from the Justice Department have been revised multiple times by people who were not in the room when the decisions needed to be made. You tell yourself the information obtained here has prevented attacks. You believe this. Most days you believe it completely. Some nights you lie in the dark running the calculations again, the lives saved against the thing you have become, and the numbers don't resolve cleanly the way you need them to. You run the facility for 22 months. When you rotate out, they give you a commendation that exists in one classified file in one building in Virginia. You do not ask who replaces you. The facility continues to operate. Some questions are better left unasked.
Level 9. The Division Director.
You are back at Langley, the building where this began, 23 years ago, when you were a nervous applicant who had Googled the address the night before. Now you walk past the memorial wall without stopping. 139 stars. No names, just stars. One for each officer who died in service. Several of them were people you worked alongside. A few died on operations you planned. You run a division of the National Clandestine Service. Hundreds of officers report into your structure. Thousands of assets around the world feed intelligence into systems you oversee. Your budget exists in accounts that don't appear in any document available to the public. You brief the president. You sit in the situation room with cabinet officials and recommend actions that will never be publicly acknowledged. You authorize operations in countries where American forces are not officially present. You testify before the Congressional Intelligence Committees. The public sessions are largely theater. The real conversations happen in closed rooms with no transcript. The senior senators ask calibrated questions. You give answers that are technically accurate and carefully bounded. Everyone understands the arrangement. They want the operations to continue. They want the distance to continue also. The intelligence flows. The work continues. You are one of the people who keeps the machine running, and you understand the machine well enough to know that no one fully controls it.
Level 10. The Ghost. You retire after 30 years. There is a small ceremony in a conference room, 50 people. The director speaks about sacrifice and service and the cost of freedom. Some of your colleagues cry. You receive the Distinguished Intelligence Cross, the highest award the CIA grants. It will go into a box in a closet because there is no context in which you can display it or explain it. You sign documents. You are reminded in formal language that everything you know is classified for the remainder of your life. You already knew this. You move to a house in rural Virginia. You do not have many close friends. The people who knew the real version of your life are scattered across postings or dead. The people from before the agency are strangers now, not because you dislike them, but because 30 years of a life they don't know about has made you someone they wouldn't fully recognize. Your pension is good, your health care is good. The government takes care of its own in the financial sense. But the assets you ran who were caught and executed are not a financial matter. The operations that went wrong are not a financial matter. The things you saw and the things you authorized and the things you did in rooms that don't officially exist, none of that is addressed in the retirement package. You walk the perimeter of your property at 3 in the morning because your nervous system has not received the message that the work is finished. You sit with coffee and watch the tree line and wait for a threat that is not coming. Somewhere tonight, a young person is filling out a form on a government website. They're thinking about service. They're thinking about purpose. They're thinking about the feeling of being part of something that matters. They don't know what the work actually costs. They'll learn. They always do. The cycle continues.